Good morning, everybody. Is this not on? Is this on now? Nope. Let's see if there's something on here. Mm, Am I on now? Oh, now we're on. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to spring 2023. I know it doesn't feel like spring out, but give it a few short weeks that are going to fly faster than you can imagine. We're going to have all the fun spring activities coming up, like Employee Recognition Day. We'll be at commencement in a blink of an eye. I'm really happy to see you all here today. I'm Krista Aldrich. I'm the Executive Director of Human Resources, for those of you that I haven't met yet. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces here. It's nice to see some new faces, too. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Craig Lamb to get us started.
Good morning, everybody. I've been told that I don't speak loud enough, so if I get quiet, please give me a thumbs up or something so that my Campus Center colleagues can hear me okay. So, Amy Churchfield, I know you're listening. Text me, you still have my cell phone number. Let me know if I got to raise my volume. So, happy 2023. I'm going to share a couple updates from Academic Affairs, but before I do, I'd like to introduce a couple new people to the division. So, some new faces. Virgil Alkazarian is our new instructor of economics. Is Virgil here today? Yeah, right over here. Yeah. Some of you might recognize Virgil. He used to be an adjunct for our P-Tech program. He transitioned from being an adjunct to a full-time instructor this semester. Virgil had a long career with M&T Bank and retired in 2019. He's been an adjunct at Niagara University. He has a master's in business management from the Asian Institute of Management and is currently pursuing his doctorate. So welcome. Crystal Forsyth is our new instructor of health and physical education. Is Crystal here? Yeah, over here. Crystal came to us from the Brighton Central School District, where she was working in health and physical education since 2014. She's actually very familiar with GCC because she served on the Health and Physical Education Advisory Committee since 2013. Crystal holds a master's in health education from St. Bonaventure. So welcome. Corey Green is our new workforce training program specialist. Is Corey here today? I think he's all the way in the back. Hey, Corey. Corey came to GCC from Odo in Buffalo, where he was a technical writer. He brings to the Best Center several years of experience as a technical trainer, a manager, and an operations assistant. Corey received his associates from GCC, proud alum, and his bachelor's in history from SUNY Geneseo. Welcome, Corey. Maria Velasquez is our new program specialist for Upward Bound. Is Maria here? Maria is a bilingual professional who comes to GCC from Spectrum News. Her past experiences include youth community outreach and journalism writing. She has her bachelor's in social communication from Cecilio Acosta Catholic University. Welcome, Maria. Maybe you're watching on the stream. And Christine Walterick is the new academic support assistant for the math, science, and career education area. Is Christine here? Yeah. Hi. Christine comes to GCC from Genesee Orthopedics, where she was an office coordinator. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Studies from SUNY Buffalo, Bachelor's of Science in Biology from SUNY Brockport, and her Master's of Arts in Teaching with a concentration in Secondary Science from Coastal Carolina University. Welcome to GCC. We also like to promote our staff from within. So I'm going to talk about some existing staff who are in some new roles. So many of you know Andrew Gable. He is the new assistant director for Upward Bound. Is Andy here? No, if you see him in the hallways on the second floor, wish him congratulations. Kelly Stone is the new record system specialist. Is Kelly here? Okay. And Jennifer Wakefield, I know that she's away today. She's our new executive director of workforce development. So a quick round of applause for all of our new and existing staff. I'm going to talk very briefly about 4 updates that are occurring in this semester and through the summer months. I will plug my session tomorrow afternoon. If anyone wants to learn more about any of these initiatives, I'm going to go into much more detail on each of these. I thought I would first start by thanking all of our faculty, our program directors, our deans, our record staff, for all the work that took place last semester with GCC moving forward with the new SUNY General Education Framework. A lot of work went unnoticed, I think, because just so much was happening behind the scenes. I'm happy to report that at the end of the semester, we had requalified 111 courses for different gen ed categories, 42 courses qualified for a gen ed category, 23 new courses were developed to meet the new gen ed framework, and we reviewed 15 programs, 3 of which are with SUNY right now. So I'd like to give all the faculty, the Senate leadership, program directors, record staff a big round of applause, because that's a massive undertaking. And this work will continue into the spring semester as we start to get ready to review and revise our AAS programs for them to be compliant with the new SUNY Gen Ed framework for the fall 24 semester. Micro-credentials you'll be hearing much more about micro-credentials in the coming weeks and months. For those who don't know, GCC has 8 credit-based micro-credentials and 1 non-credit micro-credential in mechatronics. We are soon to be partnering with SUNY Admin on a system-wide, statewide micro-credentials marketing pilot, where we will be joining 10 other SUNY schools across the SUNY system to promote our micro-credentials to different workforce areas. The first partnership that we're very excited about is a partnership with the New York State Department of Labor, where our micro-credentials will be promoted within their virtual career center. Part of this pilot program will also allow GCC to work with a lot of the businesses and organizations and agencies in and around the GLOW region for 2 reasons. 1, to help them better understand what micro-credentials are, and 2, for us to find out what micro-credentials their workforce might benefit from. So more information to come on that initiative. I'll be talking quite a bit tomorrow in my presentation about some space changes that are coming up. Just a couple to go over really briefly. Many of you who have read the college's facilities master plan that came out in 2019 might remember that there's an area that spoke to sort of some cross-alignment with the Learning Center and the library. So starting in this spring semester, the college is going to start the work in preparation for the fall 23 semester to have our Learning Center, which is currently located on the second floor of the D building, be co-located downstairs on the first floor with the library. We're pretty excited about that move. We think it's going to benefit the students tremendously. Tomorrow I'll also be talking about some other changes related to our Mac lab and our drafting area, which is right on the back side of this theater here. Starting in the spring and the summer, we're going to be renovating 2 areas, one in the D wing and one in the B wing, to accommodate those classrooms so that we can begin renovations on those spaces for what we're currently calling a multi-purpose, workforce-ready applied education center. Once that work is done, we will essentially have 2,500 additional square feet next to the multi-purpose electronics area, which is currently known as the Solar Lab, which will bring GCC up to about 4,000 square foot of space that will be specifically targeted for workforce-ready programs, programming, and things of that nature. A lot of this is coming from support that is coming from New York State, the local community who's looking for new programming in different applied areas, and some of the areas that we've been looking at already that we've been hearing from businesses and organizations are refrigeration, HVAC, CNC, general electric, residential electric, commercial electric, and everything in between. So this is a very exciting time at GCC. I will be spending much more time talking about the dynamics and the logistics associated with that tomorrow, so please join me. And then finally, prior learning assessment. Many of the faculty had heard that SUNY was revising some of its prior learning assessment procedures and policies. We should be getting that guidance from the state, or from SUNY at some point this month, at which point we'll be convening a group of faculty and staff together to look at the policy language, revisit our procedures, our protocols, and see if any changes have to take place. Some of the changes are very, I think, helpful for a lot of the population in the GLOW region, where we might have people who have years and years of experience in certain workforce sectors that might now align with college credit, or individuals who have some college but no degree and who are looking for ways to accelerate to a degree. So exciting times in these areas. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Justin Johnson, and welcome back. Happy 2023. Glad to see everybody back on campus. Thanks.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Everyone hear me all right? Well, welcome back for spring 2023. I'm very excited to see everyone, especially so many people here in person. For those streaming on the campus centers as well, welcome back. And you should know that we have some great updates for you today. And although I don't have as many personnel updates, so mine will be a little brief, but I do hope that you find it informative. Last time that I spoke here, I gave an overview of our marketing and communications efforts. I won't go back into all of that now, but I did want to share with you something that we've recently added. We maintain a lot of different social media accounts. Many of you probably use Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and we just are diving into TikTok. And I have to give credit to two of our colleagues in particular in Marcom, Mike Trulson and Maureen Spindler. They're the ones behind the camera on a lot of these endeavors. So I did take a snapshot here of our TikTok account. We launched it in the fall semester. This is really something that at least the traditional student age demographics are really into. And one thing about TikTok I wanted to share is it's not just like Twitter where you can just fire out a catchy catchphrase or throw a GIF or something like that. You generally need someone on the other side of the camera, and you need to pay attention to not only the generational trends, but finding people to be your video participants. So I wanted to make a call here as well. So we have a great team behind the camera, but we really rely a lot on each of you for content on the other side of the screen. We've had a great partnership with student engagement and inclusion, athletics, various academic departments, but we're always open for new ideas. This is something we're pretty excited about. We hope this platform will stay trendy for a while. But like most things, it'll probably have a 1 to 2 year shelf life, and then it will be considered so in the past that we'll have to migrate to whatever's next. But just wanted to share with you, for those that are TikTok users, you can follow us at SUNYGCC. For those that aren't TikTok users, it's generally a closed platform, but you can log on to the webpage and see our account at SUNYGCC. You won't really be able to interact with it, but you can keep abreast of what we're posting. So we're pretty excited about this one. And as I mentioned, this is not replacing anything that we have. It's just being additive to the things that we already do. Part of my role, I also represent, for those that don't know, the GCC Foundation. So I'm executive director of that entity. And our largest fundraiser each year is Encore. We hold that in the fall. And I just wanted to give you a recap for those that may be new to GCC, and also a shout out to a lot of people who made this year's event possible. This year's event was very special. We moved it back out of the holiday window. We had a lot of conflicts generally with holiday events in town, and we wanted to move back into November for 2 reasons: to avoid those holidays and to involve some students as well, so that they were still on campus. And the third reason was to try to get better weather. Well, the first two goals we met. We had no holiday conflicts. We had student involvement. We were very, very appreciative that we had students from theater and dance, student athletes as well, and a lot of fashion students as well that really made this a highlight of what we do. That's what the foundation stands for. That's who we serve. We serve you and we serve our students. The weather was another story. As you may remember, for those of you here, our event was scheduled to be held on Saturday, and there was a big storm coming in that week right prior that ended up closing the campus Friday. So we were basically on pins and needles if we were going to be able to hold this event. I think we spent more time looking at the North American versus the European weather models than I ever want to do again. But with that, I wanted to give enormous shout outs. While I represent Development and External Affairs and the foundation, Encore is an event that can't happen without a lot of folks, and it really does take a village. Particularly when you bring the weather into play, buildings and grounds, media services, and campus safety, and AVI adjusted their entire schedules and made sure that this campus was safe to host outside guests as well as internal guests, getting products in from vendors. We had deliveries all week. The tech was set up in advance. The snow was cleared. While most of us were home, they were here clearing that, making the campus safe. And we really wouldn't have been able to have that event without all of those things taking place during the week. We really left on Thursday, speaking on the development side and the foundation side, we left on Thursday with the event set up and ready to go. And thankfully, the storm didn't quite get as far up this way as we may have thought, but it definitely was not completely a miss. It did hit the area. Snow was needed to be cleared. Parking lots needed to be done. And we waited until the last minute Saturday to make sure we could even have the event. And I'm proud that we had over 200 people who were able to make it. And most importantly, we raised nearly $30,000 for our student support. So that was, I would say, the highlight of the foundation's year. Again, our largest fundraiser. And I just wanted to thank all those parties that made that possible. So if we could give them a round of applause, I'd really appreciate that. Another piece on the foundation side, we have our summer event, which is our Cougar Classic, a golf tournament at Stafford Country Club. Ironically, last year the weather was not entirely cooperative with that event either. There was a bit of rain, but luckily we were able to pull that off. And for those new to GCC, it's a really fun event. Not only does it include golf, but there's also a nice lunch and dinner, a basket raffle, and some auctions. Make it a nice time. It's, again, this summer it'll be at Stafford Country Club on July 17th, so you can save the date there. We have a great committee of folks, both GCC staff and volunteers, that make that possible. So not only am I promoting this year's event, I'm just sharing with you how much it really does take to pull all these things off and how much, on behalf of our foundation board, we really appreciate all of you that make that possible. And with that, I will now pass it over to Gina Weaver, our Chief Financial Officer and Vice President for Business Affairs.
Good morning, everyone. Great to see you all. I just have 2 words. Go Bills! What a tough game to watch, and as some of you are aware, it's even more difficult when your spouse is a Dolphins fan. Lots of fighting. Words exchanged, you know how that is. But thank you, it's great to see you all. I would like to introduce you to a few of our new faces. I've got a couple of changes and then give you some brief updates as well. So new faces to the Finance and Operations Department. First is Asia Breton. Asia is a new cleaner with us. She has 10 years of experience in domestic house cleaning, including pet sitting and house sitting. Before coming to GCC, Asia worked in housekeeping at Quality Inn and Suites. Is Asia here? Out cleaning, I'm sure. Next, we have Sam Chaplin, a new campus safety officer with us. Sam comes to GCC from the New York Corrections and Community Supervision and previously served as a New York State Corrections officer. Sam has a BA in Legal Studies from Nazareth College. Is Sam with us? Okay, well, welcome, Sam. You get a theme. This department is usually out there doing their work, right? Next, we have Elizabeth Lambert, a new cleaner with us. Elizabeth comes to GCC from Premier Genesee, where she worked in housekeeping for 2 years. Elizabeth also worked for Tops as a frozen dairy clerk, stocking, replenishing, and organizing inventory. Welcome, Liz. We also have Larry Small, a new part-time campus safety officer. Larry comes to GCC from the Livingston County Sheriff's Department, where he is still employed as a corrections officer. Larry previously worked in security at several different agencies and is a member of the Army National Guard. Thank you for your service, and I kind of bet Larry's not here either, but welcome, Larry. Another face you will see around campus is Aralda Vasquez, a new cleaner with us. Aralda comes to GCC from Joseph Bizan and Son, where she did housekeeping along with light groundskeeping and farmhand work. She previously worked for a dry cleaning business in Florida as well. Welcome, Aralda. I also have a couple of new faces and new names, new faces, I should call this. We have Amanda Anderson, formerly Amanda Burszynski, who used to work in HR. She's now the principal clerk in Buildings and Grounds. And because we had that vacancy, we have Ursula Jones, who moved over from secretary to the employee payroll and insurance clerk. Congratulations to both Amanda and Ursula. Some updates from my department. As many of you are aware, as Patty Furness keeps us advised of, we have the move for duplicating and the mailroom. We've been working on this move all through the fall semester. They're currently actually putting the flooring in. I took a look at it this morning. It looks really good. After that gets settled, they'll move everything back in, and they'll probably wait a couple of weeks to move Carla into there, knowing that this is her busier time. We want to make sure we time that just right. We also have to get the manufacturer in to move the bigger copying equipment. So Carla would make sure I tell you to get your copy orders in early, so she has plenty of time to get herself packed up and moved. So. That will be coming soon. We also have some construction projects. As Dr. Lamb had alluded to, we do have some classrooms that are going to be moving, the digital arts, graphic arts moves. Levi and his team will be supporting those moves through the spring semester. We want to make sure that those spaces get reconfigured and ready for them. We also have the work in the library offices that he also mentioned, so we're going to be moving the library offices into the former space vacated by duplicating and Marcom. Then we have the trickle-down effect, so we can get the learning center in there as well. So those will all be happening during the spring semester. We do hope that the new classrooms will be ready for the fall. That is our goal. And then we can start work on the next phase, which will be the work here in this building on the first floor to get those the offices vacated by digital arts and graphic arts, so we can get those ready for the new workforce ready area. I think that's yep. The other one is the big HVAC project that I want to make sure all is on your radar. We are in crunch time with our HVAC project. We have a very short window to make sure that this project gets completed in time. We have funding set aside that we received from the federal government and the state for this money, so we have to have it spent by a certain time frame. That is the qualifier when you receive money. Sometimes you have to spend it for this, spend it for that. There's constrictions upon what you can do. The restriction on this is update your HVAC system and get it done before June. no small feat. So we will keep you advised as we go through the semester. We do expect there to be some minor disruption to buildings B, C, and D, the airflow in it. And we want to make sure, especially into the April and May timeframe, that you are aware of those dates and how it may impact a different area of the building and which time. We will try to minimize the disruption as much as possible, but hopefully we'll keep that to a minimum. But we do want to make sure that you are aware of those dates as we get closer. The College Village Access Control Project, we have successfully completed the conversion of the access control system at College Village. So the college and College Village are all on one system for their access control to their doors down there. Thanks to all the hard work of campus safety on this project, that will help eliminate some system redundancies in that area. We also want to make sure that we are all hands on deck as students move back in this weekend, so that we again minimize disruption to any of them, ensure that they can get into their rooms as they had previously. And finally, we have a new EAP program. Communication came out from HR on that. It is effective January 1st. You should have received an email from Higher Ed EAP. This new program has all of the standard counseling services that were available previously, but it also has some additional services such as wealth management help, some legal, some other system, and training. There's a lot of training opportunities, right? All right. Yes. Okay. So take a look at the email. You do need to log in and set up your account and access those services through that. Okay. With that, then, I will turn over the podium to Nick Barone from Information Technology Services.
Morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? Good. Me too. Feeling a lot better. So one of our new folks is Lindsay Labella. Lindsay comes to us from Charter Communications, also known as Spectrum Enterprises. Lindsay has an extensive background in leading both student workers, back when she worked at SUNY Geneseo, as well as professional staff with her time in the networking field. She is familiar with providing technical support. She's done it for a long time. So we're looking forward to having her as the manager of user services. We think she's going to do great. She's already started to make some interesting changes. So we're looking forward to that. Lindsay has earned her Bachelor's of Arts in Earth Science from SUNY Fredonia. So if you could all just join me in welcoming Lindsay. We just have a couple updates for you. Well, there you go. So 5 things. I'll make them real quick and I won't get too technical. So first is we've been working on AV upgrades, and we look forward to completing the majority of those, especially the ones that we received HERF funding for. Like Gina said, we have to get those projects done by a certain time frame. So what that's going to do is make more spaces capable of flex learning and having flexible meetings. I've done a couple of these myself. I'm really happy with how the technology works. It's very nice to bring those people in that are in other places into your spaces and bring you to them. We're also making some changes to the P drive. So you're probably familiar with the P drive. It's where you keep a lot of your personal stuff. We're moving those files from the P drive, and we're doing this department by department, to Microsoft OneDrive. What this is going to let us do is use the Microsoft infrastructure a little bit more. It's going to give you a little bit more flexibility. One of my favorite things that I can do is that I can just log on to any old machine, go to OneDrive, and there are my files. Sometimes you'll see me walking around campus. Well, that's me accessing OneDrive from my phone, trying to get a couple things done, giving my brain a chance to work in a different way. So look forward to that, and if it's something you'd like to explore earlier, just reach out to us, let us know, and we'll be happy to get that set up for you. We're also making some changes to IT governance. What that's going to do is it's going to allow us to get more voices into the mix and allow us to be more effective with the time that people have given us as they participate in those committees. I'm really excited about this change. The suggestion came from our community. I think it's going to make a big impact. Sometimes as IT people, we can get IT tunnel vision, and what this is going to do is get more of your voices into the mix. So I'm looking forward to that. Windows 11 is coming. You may be running it yourself on your personal device. You may be running it here on campus as well. Windows 10 is coming to the end of life. And when a product reaches the end of life, what that means is it's going to get no more security patches from the manufacturer. It means Microsoft cuts us off. So we have to move every campus endpoint off of that and onto Windows 11. It's really not a giant change, a lot of cosmetics, but also some nice features. So again, you may be already running it, but if it's something that you're interested in doing a little earlier, just let us know, and we'll come and get that set up for you. It takes about just a couple hours, really. And finally, we've been working on some network speed increases here in Batavia. You may have noticed it already. I did a speed test before I came in. I did see a bump. We're going to go here from 500 megabits per second to 10 gigabits per second. And that's a 20-fold increase in speed. And what that's going to do is allow us to work with the new technologies that are coming our way. There's a lot of streaming. 4K is coming in. And there's some other tech coming, AR, virtual reality, those sorts of things that we're going to need this bandwidth for. And that's all I have for you for updates. I'm going to turn the stage over to Dr. Williams.
Good morning. Look, you can see all 5 feet of me. Look at. You can see me and I can see you. It's so great to see you. Welcome to Spring 2023. So I do have some same faces in new places. Or I don't know which one I'm doing first. Krista is a familiar face, but new to you, perhaps. Krista comes to GCC from the Pavilion Central School District, where she's worked for over 20 years in the counseling office. Her experience includes processing forms, inputting data, preparing reports, and she's familiar with working with students and parents. Krista has her bachelor's of psychology from SUNY Geneseo and will be working in the EOC office. Is Krista here? I did see Krista. Hi, Krista. Next, we have Monique, who has not taken a picture yet, but I'm sure she will. Comes to GCC from True North Rochester Preparatory, where she was an English language arts teacher for 6th grade. Her past experiences include working in diverse environments, both urban and rural, within the U.S. as well as abroad in China. Monique received her Master's of Arts in Creative Writing from Wilkes University, and she will be working as an outreach specialist as well in AEOC. Is Monique here? I've not met you yet. Yay. Fantastic. Next, we have Danny Hamner. I'm aware that Danny's not here today. He'll be joining the Student Success Pathways to Success grant program. Danny may be a familiar face to many of you because he's been a GCC adjunct instructor for 22 years here at GCC. And now he will be working in the Pathways to Success grant. He's taught a variety of courses, including history, geography, philosophy, and also worked as an instructor at Medaille College. I think it's university now, but Medaille College. So Danny holds his Master's of Arts in American History from SUNY Buffalo. So welcome to Danny. Grace, I saw Grace walk in. Grace is here. Yay, Grace is in the back. Grace will be a part-time testing assistant. Grace comes to GCC from SUNY Brockport, where she was the testing coordinator. Grace received her bachelor's in history from SUNY Brockport and her master's in public history from SUNY Brockport as well. So welcome to Grace. She's in the back. I practiced her last name, so I'm going to say it, Pulcini. Did I say it right? Yes, names are important. Thank you. And now we have some familiar faces and new places. We'll start off with Maddie Bartz. Maddie is now going to be serving as the assistant director for the Pathways to Success program. Previously, she served as one of the student success coaches. We also have Alex Masidi. Alex, formerly served in Upward Bound, and now she is a financial aid retention specialist. So Alex, did not see Alex here. I did see Maddie. Hi, Maddie. We have Robin. Robin, who formerly served as an outreach specialist and is now serving as the assistant director for AEOC. So thank you. I see Robin. Thank you for being here, Robin. So now I also, bless you, have some updates. Yay. Welcome to all of them. Congrats to them. Thank you. Some updates for the GCCA. So this, for those new folks on staff, our childcare, perhaps, we don't have any of those, but athletics as well. So we have some coaches. Assistant men's lacrosse coach is Zach Bussey. Zachary is coming to us from Cheney Law Firm. Apparently, he also worked and did some lacrosse, okay? And he worked there as a process server. He received his bachelor's in criminology from St. John Fisher College. Steve Chico may be a familiar face to some of you. He will be serving as the assistant softball coach. Stephen was an adjunct for GCC from 2009 to 2015. His last position was with the Elba Central School District, where he was a health and physical education instructor. He received his AAS in General Studies from GCC, his bachelor's in Health Science and Human Performance from Ithaca College, and he has his master's in School and College Health Education from Indiana University. So welcome back to Stephen. I don't believe any of these folks are going to be here. Okay. Next, we have Haley Ingalls. Haley is going to be serving as a teacher assistant in the Child Care Center. We do have one Child Care Center person. Haley comes to GCC from Home Depot, where she worked as a cashier. She previously worked for Oliver's Candies and Subway. That background is going to be very helpful for the Child Care Center. Absolutely. I'm sure she's over with the littles right now. Next, we do have Kevin Simpson. I did not see Kevin this morning. Kevin is going to be serving as our head women's basketball coach. Kevin comes to GCC with several years of coaching experience and at the high school as well as second level in college. He currently works for the YMCA, and Kevin has his bachelor's in sociology from DUville College. Next is Alan Rimillard. He's serving as the assistant for the women's basketball team. Ellen comes to GCC from Erie. She worked at BOCES, where she was an occupational therapist. Ellen received her master's in occupational therapy from DUville College. So now I'll provide some brief updates. Yes, let's clap. Thank you. So I'll provide some general updates for the Student Enrollment Services Division. So we're going to start with the GCC Strategic Enrollment Plan. I first want to express my appreciation and thanks to those three individuals who led this effort. That was Tanya Lane Martin, Lindsay Gerhart, and Tim Tomzak. So GCC partnered with SUNY and received some coaching through ACRO to develop our strategic enrollment plan. This plan will lend itself to providing guidance as it relates to enrollment and retention at the institution and is currently being used to inform our strategic plan. I also want to thank the committee who worked on this because there were a lot of individuals across campus who contributed. So I want to really express my appreciation for your efforts and your commitment to this project. Once completed and approved, the plan will be available in our intranet, so in our SharePoint for personnel. And we'll let you know through news notes when it is public and available for viewing. Next, we have the Wellness Center. So we have gone away from the Health Center, but we are being more inclusive in that we are considering complete wellness and holistic view for our students. We have Meg Bernard. I don't know if Meg is in the room. Yes, she is. Meg. So Meg is our wellness specialist, and she has been doing an outstanding job of supporting our students. Students are looking for a more comprehensive experience on campus, and she has been able to offer that. You can go into this space, and as soon as you cross the threshold, there's like a calming. It smells good with all the essential oils. There's a prayer room in that space, and students are welcome to engage with Meg. She also serves as the advisor for the Wellness Club, and there are a lot of activities that are routine, such as yoga, that are available for our students to support them. So I encourage you to inquire, to check out what's available in the Wellness Center. Next, I want to just mention the National Society of Leadership and Success. So this is a leadership program that the Student Engagement and Inclusion Office launched in the fall semester. This gives more students an opportunity to be engaged in leadership development beyond Phi Theta Kappa. So the GPA is more broad, and so it can be more inclusive. We had 177 students express interest, and already 64 have received the certification. So this is online. They go online, learn about leadership, they engage in activities and discussions, and it's really been an opportunity for a broader community of students to be engaged in leadership development. So we're excited about how that will continue to grow because we're soliciting additional names for the spring semester, already having 177 students who have expressed interest. And lastly, I just want to touch on the BOT, GDUB. For those of you who are new, in 21, we launched with EdSites a chatbot. This is an opportunity to communicate with our students directly in what they hold dearest, their cell phones. And they are talking back. We have received 13,000 texts from our students since we launched. So they are sending text communications, they're responding to the campaigns that we've established, and we're able to meet them where they are. It gives us proactive information about how our students are doing. We are able to educate them about things that we couldn't do at scale before. We just had some limitations, but now we can send information about financial literacy, and it is right in their hands. We are going to continue this effort of leveraging the software. Tanya Lane Martin, who is here, I saw her. Tanya, everyone knows Tanya. Tanya is going to assist with providing some additional leadership as it relates to leveraging this resource, really examining the responses from students, creating new campaigns to engage our students. And so we'll continue to do that work to, again, meet them where they are. I am excited about what this 2023 semester will bring. The division will continue to really focus on retention and collaboration. That's what we're going to continue to do because we all know students don't grow on trees. And so we will continue to try to engage and retain them because that's the way we're going to continue to move forward. With that said, I am going to turn over the updates to Dr. Sunser.
Morning, everyone. How was everybody's holiday? Good? Good. Short? Yeah, okay. Roseanne and I had a nice holiday. We've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old grandchildren now, and another one coming this summer. So if you don't have grandchildren, I recommend you get them. They make the holidays a lot more fun, and if you're not ready to have any, find somebody that does and share theirs. So you've heard a lot going on, and there's been a lot going on. We've been busy, and everybody on campus has been busy. The faculty, you heard, and I concur, have done incredible work around the general education requirements that SUNY has decided to add to curriculum. The staff have been here doing everything to launch new programs, new services, new ideas to support students in their success. And it's a theme you've heard me talk about now for a long time. You know, student success, you'll hear me say it over and over and over again, has to be at the center of our thinking about everything that we do. But we've got people that I believe truly appreciate that idea and are committed to that idea. And that's sometimes the hardest thing to do, is to get people that are on the same page and believe in the same things. A lot of new faces, a lot of faces in different places. That provides a lot of opportunity. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of opportunity. I'm going to talk just for a few minutes here, and then I'll let you get back to the important things that you're doing to get ready for the semester. But I want to talk a little bit about GCC, looking at our past, our present, and our future, and really how those things play against the current landscape of higher education. We're in a time in higher education like we've never been in. We've been in it for a while, but it's real, it's here, and it's not going away anytime soon. You may be aware that we just had our latest census, and we have a decrease in the Genesee County population of about 10% of residents. We're down to about 58,000 residents, a little less than that, in Genesee County. That's a little bit less than was at the Bills game yesterday, and a little bit more than it would be at a Syracuse University game at what is now some new name Dome. Not a lot of people, down 10%. Of that 10%, only 20% are 18 and under, our traditional audience. We've done a very, very good job of converting students to GCC students. Our yield in new students is up year to year. It continues to go up. The challenge is we're getting a higher percentage of a smaller pool, and we have to just understand that that's the case. So you've heard me talk before, and one of the most important things that we're going to be able to do to promote healthy and sustainable enrollment for the institution is to continue to work hard on retention, and then retention. The students that we bring in, looking at all of our process, how we engage with them, what we provide them, and how all of that helps them to reach their goals. That's what we want anyways. Helping students achieve their success is what we're all about. But there's some realities to that that are beneficial to the institution as well. There's things that we have done, and there's things that we're going to need to do to make that a reality. One of the things that we want to do is to honor and maintain our strong legacy of liberal arts. For some of the new folks or for some other folks, one of the things that, if you look at the history of this college, we were founded primarily with a focus on a liberal art education. The first 2 years of a liberal arts degree with the idea of transferring on to another 4-year institution. That's an important piece of who we are and who we will be in the future. But it can't be the only piece. And we have to recognize the reality of where higher ed is right now and where state and federal funding sources are that support our institution. That is not necessarily where everybody is in their thinking. There's a definite change in how things are handled. 4-year institutions in this region are not waiting any longer for our transfer students. They're getting out in front, they're taking them before they get here, and they're taking them, frankly, while they are here. We've put some things in place to change some of that. You'll probably remember the old days where we had big college fairs where everybody came in all at once and they talked to students about their transfer opportunities. And we would have multiple colleges here talking about, well, when you're done here, here's where you can go, and here's how it'll look, and here's how it'll transfer. Those days were exciting for students, exciting for us to see them looking to the future after they were done with us. But to be honest with you, we made some strategic changes around that to move towards bringing in fewer on individual bases. Why did we do that? Well, because I saw personally an awful lot of our partner institutions who were working really hard to attract students for transfer. Problem was they were first semester freshmen, and they weren't waiting till they were done here. They were trying to bring them in sooner. I'm not looking to place blame, to create a sense of fault. I'm just talking about the reality. That's what was happening, and it didn't seem productive for us to continue with that type of an outreach. Our goal is to bring people here, let them get the best 2 years of an education they can get, and then help them transfer on. But I'd rather do it while their admission to the college and the ink on the paper is still a little moist. So we worked with people to change how we do that, and I think it's worked out a little bit better. We don't see that same kind of aggressive recruitment of our students that we did previously. You know, the funding sources that we're seeing, you heard Gina and Dr. Lamb and other folks talk about, we've got a bunch of projects that we're doing, and we're pressed on those projects around funding sources. All the funding really is pointing towards more applied programs, more workforce-ready training, more types of ability to prepare students for jobs in this region and beyond. We've positioned ourselves in a way where we can continue to grow in that area. We've talked about adding new programs. We've added them traditionally. We've added things that have been very successful, like veterinary technology, where our students are placed in great jobs. We have fantastic allied health programs that are direct from college to work, even though students can transfer and go on if they'd like to, and those credits transfer. You know, we've added a solar technology program that, you know, has the capacity to double its enrollment because of what's beyond education for our students in terms of career opportunities. We're looking at areas like cybersecurity and other areas where there's emerging needs and where there's also federal and state support to bring those programs on board. So we want to stay true and dedicated to our traditional mission of a very, very solid liberal arts education and transfer to four-year institutions, but the growth areas and the opportunity, frankly, is going to be in some of the other areas, especially the workforce types of areas. You look at the landscape, and it's not just me saying that, that's the fact. Okay? You all know that I've been a commissioner with Middle States for many years. I'm the past chair of Middle States. We do the accreditation for over 650 colleges and universities throughout the Northeast. Things are changing. We've had a lot of colleges merge, a lot of colleges be acquired, and frankly, more colleges close than ever before in the last half a decade. The most recent, Cazenovia College in Central New York, is closing come this fall. That's a college with well over 100-year history. Closer to home, if you will, within the SUNY system, if you've been staying up on higher ed trends, you'll hear there was discussion of SUNY Binghamton and Broome Community College merging. That may or may not happen. But that's something, quite honestly, that 10, 15, 20 years ago would have probably been unthinkable. So things are changing. We have to adapt, we have to adjust, and we have to look not just now, but into the future. This college has a very rich, very successful 50-year plus track record as an independent institution. And we've got to be thinking about how do we make it independent today and 50 years into the future. You know, some of the good news about that, though, is we're in a very good place for that. Financially, this college is rated amongst all the community college and the SUNY four-year colleges, and we're giving a rating. Financially, we're extremely solid. We're in the top 25% of all the colleges. If you look at the four-year institutions, excuse me, it's not really the case. Anybody see some of the articles that were published right before the end of the year about the deficits that some of the SUNY institutions were running? Annual deficits of millions of dollars at campuses as well known as Geneseo. I mean, solid institutions that are in real financial distress. That may be part of why they're willing to come here and try to enroll our freshmen. But the bottom line is, we as an institution, because of a lot of hard work by all of you, are in a great position financially. We're not subject to the same kind of pressures at this point. But I won't pretend that that hasn't been difficult for folks. I won't pretend that that hasn't been a change to how things were 20 years ago. We've had to become even more conservative in a community that knows conservative like not many others do. But it's something that has served us well. It's something that's positioned us, quite frankly, within the community colleges to be the envy of the system. We're in a very, very good place. We have the ability, with smart management, good leadership team, and all of your efforts, to position us well into the future to make sure that we're one of those schools when they talk about mergers or they talk about new ways of doing things, we're out in front of it. Somebody asked me a number of years ago about this very subject. And it was somebody here, and then I had it from somebody at Albany. And one of the things that they said was, have you ever thought about merging with, I don't know, a place like, say, Monroe? And I said, you know, you can't do my job without thinking about, hopefully, all the different implications of where you are. And I said, yeah, I mean, I've taken a look at Monroe. We would be willing to take them over if they want to. I think we could teach them a few things. Nothing against Monroe. Know the president well, spend a lot of time with her, know the people there, great institution. But frankly, I think we have a lot more to offer than most institutions, and we do it a lot better than many of the institutions. But we can't rest on those laurels. We have to continue to do that. So when we think about that, I think about looking at the future. We're at a great place to look at our future. For those that are new or those that have been here, we are right now starting to look seriously at our strategic plan that'll guide the next 5 years. That's a plan that needs all of your attention. And I don't mean 24 hours a day, but I mean you need to think about those opportunities when we have open sessions, when we bring people in, we talk about where we want to be, where we are, how we can leverage what we have. This is the opportunity to do that. And this is a place that makes a difference. The strategic plan that is coming to a conclusion this year has guided our last 5 years. When you look at the projects that we're talking about, the programs we've discussed adding, the services that we're enhancing, you cannot look at a single one of those objectives and not see a placeholder in the current strategic plan that said, this is the way to go, this is how to get there, this is what we should be doing. That plan did not come from me. It did not come from cabinet. It did not come from the board. It came from everybody here and all of us together. And we're at that point right now where we're taking a look down the road for 5 more years. From the strategic plan comes the facilities master plan that we've talked about in the document that's allowed us to bring in state and federal funds to do these projects. The IT master plan that we talk about, where we're going to go ahead and make upgrades to systems. You know, the things that are being done are not being done in a vacuum. They're not being done haphazardly. I know it can seem that way sometimes because they come up quickly. And we have to work around deadlines and requirements and funding sources and all those issues. So sometimes it might seem like, where did this come from? I would recommend you go back and look at those plans because they're all in there. But things happen quick around here. I look at things like the lighting around the perimeter of this room. We had some lights out on these sconces. I think sconce is the right word. I'll have to ask Roseanne. But those lights on the wall. And I said to, some people, I said, before we get into the ceremony season and spring graduations and all those types of things, I'd like to have those replaced and new lights put in that all match so it looks uniform and nice for our students when they're on this stage. I think I said that last Friday. They're all changed. They're all matching. That's our facilities folks that never let you down. But it's the type of thing that is the way things happen here. Everybody goes beyond expectations, just like our slogan said. I know that. I know you're all asked to do an awful lot, and I know that you all dedicate so much more of yourselves and your lives than some people are asked to do. But I hope you believe you're doing it for the right reasons. I hope you believe you're doing it because this college is worth it, our mission is worth it, and our students are worth it. I know I believe that. I know they are. So I thank you for all those efforts, and I applaud you for all of that. Now, as we take a look going forward, there's things that we continue to work on. You'll hear about a few of them. Amazingly, we look outside and people said, well, spring, it doesn't feel like spring. This feels a lot closer to spring than some of these welcome backs to spring semester. There's no snow on the ground. Well, guess what? A couple weeks ago, there was snow up to windows around these buildings and residence halls. And we had students that were here over the break. We had to do a whole lot of things. We've done a lot of things. We're doing a lot of things that are making a student experience better. We've done a lot to incorporate College Village students into the college experience here on campus. One of the things that we have going for us is if you look at this college, as I said before, demographics in the area are tough. Fewer people in our target area of age. A lot of people needing to finish up degrees and credentials. A lot of opportunity. Prior year learning experience, you've heard about that. All those things that we're putting into place is for a reason. The other piece is this community has never, even at its peak, really had enough individuals to sustain an organization, an institution of this size. We've always had to rely on bringing people from the outside in to make it work. Whether they're international students, whether they're out-of-area students, whether they're students from New York City, from out of state. Those are things that we do that I can tell you some of the larger institutions that rely on maybe one large city school district to pull half of their population, they don't do. They don't have the experience in it. They don't have the support services for it. They don't do it as well as we do it. So we have a lot of things already in place that are going to help us as we look into the future. But those are the areas that we have to continue to invest in. We have to make sure that we are making smart investments, that we're making good use of our resources, and that we've got the right people on this team. That's something that we've always had, and I think we're going to always have into the future. We've got experienced and dedicated faculty and staff that choose to be here. They're talented people that have opportunities that go well beyond GCC, but they choose to be here for whatever personal or professional reasons they have. But it makes a huge difference. So it's going to be a lot of work. I apologize in advance because I know you're already doing a tremendous amount of work. I know it can feel like just one more thing. But some of those things that we're talking about are really essential to the future. We need to kind of be mindful, talked about the Wellness Center, and taking care of ourselves and each other, because there is a lot expected and there's a lot demanded. But the good news is we've got people that I think care about each other and will lift each other up. I've been to places where it's almost a spectator sport to manufacture issues. We don't do that at this institution. Everybody has issues, but when we have them, they're real and we tackle them together. We don't make each other's lives more challenging just for the sport of it. We boost each other up, we hold each other up, and we do that in a way that I don't think anybody does any better than we do. That's something that I'll always be grateful for. Got challenges ahead, but we've got the right people, and we've got the resources to wisely move forward and to really set this college on a trajectory that's going to take us the next 50 years. I won't be around 50 years from now to see it, but I think that we certainly are going to be doing an awful lot to make sure the future of our college is bright. You should know that when I talk to people, whether it be through Middle States, the State University of New York, the New York State Education Department. I had a conversation last weekend with the new chancellor. People envy this institution. They look at some of what goes on. They look at the folks that we have. They look at how we can attract students from places you would never imagine. They look at how we're being successful in retaining students. They envy a lot of what's going on here. That's a credit to everybody in this room and everybody throughout the institution. I couldn't be more thankful and more honored than to work with all of you every day. I want to thank you. I want to welcome you back. I want you to have a great semester. Remember, we're going to go through this strategic planning process. Get involved, even if it's just sending ideas to committees. If you can't be a part of any of the sessions, feel free to send those directly to me. Every idea is something that we would take a serious look at. We want to make sure that we're pulling the best of what we can as we put our plan together, because again, that will guide what we do over the next 5 years. You have a place in that plan and put your fingerprints on it as well as the rest of us. So thank you. Have a great semester. And feel free to stop by anytime if there's things you want to share. But I appreciate you all being here. Enjoy the rest of the day and the semester. Thank you. So nobody's getting up. And we sometimes do Q&A and sometimes we don't. But if anybody has a question that you want to ask, I can try to answer it. If not, I'll let you go and we'll get going. All right. Oh, what about the campus centers was the question. The campus centers are an integral part of what we do. We will have campus centers, physical locations in all 3 counties that we serve beyond Genesee as long as I'm here. Any other questions? Lindsay, could you just show people your jacket, please? Okay. I like that. So thanks for being here. Have a great day.